Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE NXT UK review for November 6, 2018. And the reason why I'm going to do this video separate from the November 7th edition is because I want to do another WWE All Talk included with this, 205 Live and NXT. And this one kind of messes it all up because um, that way I can just do all of the other shows that came out on November 7th the same date in one video. This just kind of messes the whole thing up. So that's why I'm just going to do this as its own review. So I'm just going to get right into this. We had the commentary team of Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness, and the show kicks off with a match between Dave Mastiff and Damian War. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but he's pretty much an enhancement talent. And Damian Mastiff just completely destroys this guy. The guy tries to do a high cross body at him, but Dave Mastiff's too big, and he hits a senton on him. He hits a wicked suplex throw on him, and then he hits a cannonball in the corner, and then that's it. But I thought it was perfect. It made Dave Mastiff look really strong, and it's nice that you do these enhancement matches because this really puts over Dave Mastiff, so I liked it. And then we had a video package for Lugaro, and pretty much this was just to build him up. And he pretty much just kind of talked about his history. We've seen this video package before, but then we had a video package for James Drake, who was making his debut in NXT UK, and we got a little bit of a history behind him. And then we had a video package for Jenny, going through more her fashion phase. And then we had Lugaro versus James Drake, and I actually thought this was a pretty good match here. I really enjoyed it. They both did some nice. Lugaro hit some nice high flying, quick wrestling chain holds on James Drake, but then James Drake started to take control of the matchup. He really dominated Lugaro for a while. Then Lugaro, I don't remember what he called this, but it was like a sunset flip into a pile. He hit a sunset flip into a pile driver on a James Drake. It looked really goddamn cool. But James Drake still kicked out of it. James Drake hit a wicked run and drop kick into the corner on Lugaro. Lugaro kicked out of that. And then Lugaro wins with the springboard tornado DDT. And I thought this was a pretty good match here. I really enjoyed it. And then Toni Storm gets interviewed because she's facing Dakota Kai next week. And she talks about how she's had to go through all this stuff to get to the WWE, and she wants to be the first NXT UK champion, and she's going to show Dakota Kai that next week. Dakota Kai comes up to her and says that she knows everything that Toni Storm's had to do to sacrifice to get to the WWE, and I've had to make the same sacrifices, and I know you want to be the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion, but I wanted just a little bit more, and I'm going to show you that next week, and then they shake hands. But I liked this backstage segment here. I thought it really did a good job of building to their match next week. Well, on the next episode, anyways. So I enjoyed that. And then we had a video package for Ashton Smith, just introducing who he is. And then we had a promo for Zap Gibson. He cut a promo on Amir Jordan, I think is his name. But I remember who he is. He was the guy that was very green in the second version of the United Kingdom Championship Tournament. And he cuts a promo on him saying that he's a great athlete, but he's not going to take down Liverpool's number one. It was actually a really good promo. That match is going to be also on the next episode of NXT UK. And then Ashton Smith was supposed to be in a match, but he gets attacked by Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers. And they come into the ring and they cut a promo. And they say that at Royal Albert Hall, me and my brother, and Joe Coffey cuts the promo. And I actually thought he cut a good promo. He says that that they've put the entire NXT UK division on notice since Royal Albert Hall, which is part 2 of the NXT UK United Kingdom Championship Tournament. And he says that if you want, pretty much that there's going to be a hierarchy in the UK division. It's going to be them and then everybody else. And they're going to take down everybody, and they don't care what the fans think about it. And he's willing to take his own brother and somebody that's willing to bend the rules a little bit to get what they want. And that was pretty much the promo. I enjoyed the promo, though. I thought it was a good promo. And it was, Joe Coffey's first promo, like, in front of a big stage like that, and I thought he did a good job. And I enjoyed it. So then Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews get interviewed, and they're outside of Johnny Saint's office, and they're trying to get a word with him because they want to do something about the Coffey brothers and Wolfgang. And Ashton Smith wants to be a part of this, so they go into their office. We later on in the show find out that on the next episode in the main event, it's going to be Ashton Smith, Flash Morgan Webster, and Mark Andrews versus the Coffey brothers and Wolfgang. So I'm looking forward to that match. And then we had Sid Scala versus Eddie Dennis. And obviously, we've seen vignettes pretty much since the premiere episode of NXT UK for Eddie Dennis. And I gotta say, this guy was a lot more intimidating and a lot taller than I thought he was gonna be. I expected him to be pretty tall, but I didn't expect him to be as tall as he was. And I thought he was awesome. I thought he looked really destructive in this match, and I thought he was very impressive. He pretty much destroys Sid throughout this matchup, and he even talked about how he's waited for 10 years to get this opportunity, and this is the best they could bring me. And Sid gets a hope spot. He does hit a crossbody on Eddie Dennis, but Eddie Dennis kicks out, and then he hits a Razor's Edge buckle bomb into the corner, and he beats him with the like a reverse pickup DDT. I really can't explain the move, but it was I think it was called a kill shot, but I don't think that's what it was called. But I thought his finish looked really impressive, and Eddie Dennis looked really impressive, and I think he should be the guy that dethrones Pete Dunne for the NXT United Kingdom Championship, just because of the fact that he talks about their history, and I think it would make sense. Obviously, not right away. Just build up to that. Have him, like I said, get into a feud with Mark Andrews, and then have him win that feud, and then obviously he can go into eventually beat Pete Dunne for the UK NXT United Kingdom Championship. And then we had the main event. It was a WWE NXT United Kingdom Championship match. WWE NXT United Kingdom Champion Pete Dunne versus Danny Burch. This was a great main event. If you haven't watched this match, it's definitely worth the watch. They both started exchanging chain holds on each other, but Pete Dunne pretty much gets the upper hand onto Danny Burch, and he bends Danny Burch's hand back and just really, does the joint manipulation onto Danny Burch, and then, Danny Burch finally starts to get some offense in. He hits a drop toe into a half crab, and he hits a wicked right hands, but then Pete Dunne backs into the corner, and Pete Dunne just waylays him with a wicked forearm. He hits an X-Plex on the apron, and Pete Dunne targets the injured hand of Pete Dunne, but then Danny Burch starts to make a comeback. He hits a missile drop kick from the second turnbuckle, and then he does a kick up, and he starts making his comeback under Pete Dunne, and then they pretty much the match just really went back and forth. Pete Dunne hits an enziguri into the corner. Danny Burch kicks out. Danny Burch hits a wicked spinebuster. Pete Dunne kicks out, and Pete Dunne hits a kick right to the arm of Danny Burch and continues to target the arm. Pete Dunne starts to slam his hand onto the steps, and he goes to stomp on it while he's on the steps, but Danny Burch moves out of the way and hits a and trips Pete Dunne face first into the steps and hits a German suplex on the outside, and Pete Dunne still is able to kick out of that. And then Pete Dunne hits a breaks the fingers of Danny Burch, and they both exchange submissions on each other where Pete Dunne tries to get him into an armbar. Danny Burch reverse. Actually, no, Pete Dunne actually ended up hitting an X-Plus into a cross arm breaker, but Danny Burch got out, was able to get out of that, reverse into a crossface, but then Pete Dunne reversed that. Danny Burch hit a reverse half and half suplex, which is just a regular half and half suplex, but I'm just so damn excited to talk about this match. He had a wicked uppercut onto Pete Dunne. He finally hit his drape and DDT, but Pete Dunne kicked out of it. Pete Dunne hit the bitter end, but Danny Burch kicked out of it. And then finally, Pete Dunne gets him into an armbar, and Pete Dunne bends the arm back of Danny Burch. And Danny Burch ends up tapping out, and Pete Dunne retains his NXT United Kingdom Championship. And that was the end of the match. It was a great match. And afterwards, in a way that Pete Dunne gives respect. He just gives Danny Burch a head nod, um, you know, showing that he respected Danny Burch for his performance in this NXT United Kingdom Championship match. It was a great match, and I really enjoyed it. One thing I do want to say though is I think something went wrong with Danny Burch's entrance, because when Danny Burch came out, like, the camera wasn't facing Danny Burch, and just something seemed like it went wrong. So I thought that was interesting. But other than that, that was pretty much this episode of NXT UK. And overall, I gotta say, I thought this was a hell of an episode. I liked the debut of Eddie Dennis. I liked, the stuff they did with the Coffee Brothers and Wolfgang. I liked the Ligero James Drake match. And I like the way that Dave Mastiff was used on the show. So I'm gonna say it was a great episode. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was great. And that's pretty much my review of this episode. Make sure you guys check out my WWE All Talk I'm going to do related to, the November 7th edition of NXT UK 205 Live and NXT. And that's pretty much the end of this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell. So that way every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and all the Talking 80 YouTube channels. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.